Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurubhe Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asvacharya Patyandam, Vande Guru Paramparam, Sakana Vavadu, Sakana Punaktu, Sakabhiryam Karabhavakai, Tejasvina, Vadita Mustuma, Vatvishavai, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Patena Vacham, Malam Sarirasya Chavaitakena, Yopa Karottam Pravaram Munina, Patanjali Pranjali Manatosmi. Good morning, very happy new year to you. So maybe it's a good time to take up some resolutions from Patanjali Yoga Shastra. And we have come to the right place because we are learning the most important part of the Patanjali's contribution, Ashtanga Yoga. Since we have got a gap of 1 week last week, so let's just have a very quick recap where we left so that we can get the context of it. So we, in our pursuit of Vedantic study, we understood that liberation, moksham, freedom is not a process of doing something and attaining it, because attainment is not eternal. Attainment is temporal. Relatively, they are true, but they are not eternally true. Therefore, if something that comes and goes, that cannot be the fulfillment, freedom, moksham. Therefore, Vedanta says, moksham is by the realization of the true nature of yourself. Because if it is not in us before, it can never be there ever. What is not there can never be there all the time. Therefore, if moksham is something which is eternal, it must be always there in me. Therefore, if I am looking for moksham, it only says that I am ignorant that I am always eternally free. So this is a very paradoxical statement. Moksham we seek, but the truth is, moksham we seek not to get it, but to realize it. Therefore, if it is something which is already there, the realization comes from the knowledge that it is there. Therefore, the whole process of dharma, karma, bhakti, jnana margams is not to attain moksha, but to remove the ajnana or avidya that hides the moksha, the freedom that we already have, the truth that we already are, the atma that we are always. Therefore, the process of doing yoga is nothing but removing this ignorance. If I remove the ignorance, what will happen? The student kept on asking the teacher in Vedanta. Teacher said, well, if you keep on asking this question, I can only tell you what you're looking for is you, Tattvamasi. So when he says to us, it's just a sound. But for that person who has got a good understanding of a clear mind, Chitta Shuddhi, Dhrida Buddhihi, for him, it is dawn. So we were blinking. So the teacher said, okay, there's nothing else to teach. This is it. You go through all the Vedas, Vedantas, it'll always come back to the same thing. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, kind of sentences, Mahavakyas to tell you the truth. But if I am not able to understand the truth, I have a golden chest full of treasures, it's locked, I don't have the key. Then it becomes a weight. You see, a poor person might be very happy because there's nothing to hide, nothing to save. But if you have a treasure chest and you can't open it, you can't sleep. This is the problem. So when you move into this satsangs and Vedantic pursuits, you become restless positively on something else because you have the treasure chest. You want to open it. Then you tell the teacher, look, I don't know what to do. Then he says, very simple. What is hiding you is the ajnanam, which is basically a darkness of not knowing the truth. And that is because you polluted your mind, not only this janma, but many, many, many janmas. Therefore, you have to do cleanup act. Go back and clean your mind. So the Vedantic school is not going to tell you how to clean it. You go and clean it and come back. And you said, okay, what do I do? How do I clean it? And he said, go to the master, Patanjali, and he's going to give you certain things to clean it. So he gave the direction of Patanjali. We all went to Patanjali. We bowed to him. And they said, we are coming from the Vedantic school. We want to have that you have something called yoga, which removes the impurities of the mind. Give me that. And he said, no problem. He thought of us as very mature, Uttama Purushaka, because we're coming from the Vedantic school. Probably we've gone through those, Tattvabodha's pre-qualification, Samadhama, all these things. So he thought, no problem, you are a very bright student. It's very simple, just one line. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. When you control your mind, everything will be gone. You looked at him. How do I do it? He said, easy. Abhyasa vairagyam. Abhyasa vairagyapyam tan nirodha. To do the nirodham, to do the control of the mind, practice, and have dispassion. When he said that, he assumed that you know what to practice and you will maintain the vairagyam. But you and I know, we do not know this. But he said that do abhyasa. That means you practice, continue to practice the goodness in you, continue to practice dispassion in you. Then he said, Ishvara pranidhanatva. You do this practice by bringing Ishvara. Don't go just irrational, logical, scientific pursuit. You think, and then reject all this. Believe in Ishvara. Bring everything into Ishvara. In the presence of Ishvara, live a life in which you practice good qualities and vairagya. This is again knowledge to us because we don't have vairagyam. We haven't got those qualities yet. Looking at our face, Patanjali said, okay, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita Upekshana, Sukha Dukkha Punya Punya Vishayana, Bhavana Taschitta Prasad. He said, because you are not living recluse, you are living in this world, you deal with people. Therefore, to help you in abhyasam and vairagyam, you maintain a behavior change, a positive behavior change in you. And he said, in Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, Apunya Vishaya. He put the whole world that we deal with into 4 status. Sukham, Dukkham, happiness or grief. You witness it. Or Punyam or Apunyam, which are basically the cause of Sukham is Punyam, Dukkham is Apunyam, Apunyam is Pavam. Vishayanam, all the objects of giving you Sukham and Dukkham, Punyam and Apunyam, when you look at those things, these 4 items, you maintain 4 behaviors. All this we've gone through it. I'm just reminding you of this. Maitri means friendly, amity. Whoever is happy, maintain a pleasantness towards them. Why does he say that? If I am happy, And if you are sad because I'm happy, that means you have Krishtaha vritti, you have Asuya, you have envy. So you develop a friendly approach to me. Whoever is happy, you are happy. Karuna and dukkha. Whoever is suffering, have compassion. No matter who it is. Maybe a person you always hated. If he is suffering, be karunyam to them, compassionate. Punya, if somebody is doing good things to others, when you hear them, see them, you do encourage them, utsaham. You become happy in yourself because you may get jealousy. When Karna was giving all that, and others got very jealous of him because he is so willingly giving. Jealousy should not come. And there are people who do bad things, and if it is not in your role to correct them, what do you do? Upekshana, udasina. Ignore them. Because there's no point in, contesting them and you suffocating yourself. So he given us the Lakshya, Chitta Nivritti Nirodham, a sadhana, Abhyasa Vairagyam, and Ishvara Pranidhanam, and a behavior change. That's it. So we came with, then he gave all the samadhis and all that things. But these 4 sutras are the important one, the first part. But we lingered around Patanjali because this is not helping us anyway. It is again a treasure box, another treasure box without a key. We said, please teach us more. Then he said, okay. Then he considered us as Madhyama Adhikari. That means not yet ripened in our understanding. He said, I will teach you Sadhana Padha. And he said, give one quick sudra. This is enough. Tapas Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhani, Kriya Yoga. Go and do Kriya Yoga, which is consisting of Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. It's all those things. And then he gave a number of benefits of why we do what it is and all that. Another treasure box to us without a key. Because I understand what is tapas is. I understand Swadhyayam. Understand Ishvara Pranidhana. But I can't do it. Duryodhana, when he is in the final deathbed, he is saying, look, I understand Dharma. I'm not a failure student. In the class I am maybe not the first rank, but I'm in the above average. I understand Dharma, I understand everything. But I could not practice it. He didn't find Patanjali as a teacher. So we also have the same problem. I understand tapas, swadhyaya. Please. So we linger around Patanjali again. Then he said, okay, he's a Manda Adhikari. He is very like me. You and I, that we are in a very ordinary walks of life. We are good people. We are knowledgeable about the world. In Atma Vidya, we are beginners. We understand very little. Therefore, he is compassionate about, and he started teaching for us the Ashtanga Yoga. Yoganga, Anushtanat, Ashuddhik Shaye, Jnana Deepti, Aviveka Kyageha. So, Yoga Anga, Anushtanat. I am going to give you the Yoga Angas, the limbs of the Yogas. If you can't take the whole thing, they'll give you the part and parcel of it. So, I'm going to give you that. Anusthanam, means Anusantanam. If you practice it without gaps regularly, what will happen is Ashuddhi Kshaye. Kshaya means removal. Ashuddhi will be gone. So he is not giving you, don't worry. If you follow this, what I'm going to say, you will achieve what you need to achieve. And he said, Jnana Deeptihi. Remember, the jnana is deepam. It is lighting up in our heart. The darkness is hiding it. And the Asuttik Shaya, when the Ashuddham is going away, the Jnana Deepam blossoms. It's called Viveka Kyadi. Then we naturally ask the question, what is this Yoga Anka? He said, the very famous Shudra, everybody knows it. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhyos, Ashta Angani. There are 8 parts, 8 steps or 8 limbs, you can say. Yamam, Niyamam, Asanam, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhi. This Dharanam, Dhyana, Samadhi, the 3 is called Samyogams. You'll see it in other, even different granthas explaining those things. It's a very deep subject, those 3 are. But he is again, as a good teacher, taking us from the external behavior to outward contact to internal contact to the mental and spiritual progress. Yama, Niyama, or the 2 things first, he taught. So Yama is what? Yama is don't. Things that you should not do. Or the things that you, by not doing it, you achieve certain virtues. And this is very important. That's why he put as the first one. There is no point in doing yoga practice. Physical yoga practice is fine, but any dhyanam and all this samadhis, you can't attain it without this yama niyamas. And even if you attain certain powers or certain samadhi, can say, without having yama niyamas, they are just hallucinations and they are not going to be really keeping you there for good. So it's very important. Yama niyama are the most important, we can say, first steps. But again, to perfect yama niyama will take many, many janmas. Therefore, we take the approval of these scholars, what they say. You don't need to really take as a steps and sitting there. You follow yama niyama and also continue the other steps. Then we saw what the yamas are. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yamaha. So 5 of the yamas. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satya, non-falsehood. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, celibacy, or steadfast conduct in the path. Aparigraha is non-indulging in sensual pleasures. And we saw this thing in detail, what they are and why they are important. But ahimsa is the most important part. In ahimsa, everything is built. Ahimsa, paramo dharmaha. So what we have to do, we don't say, okay, I'm going to now do ahimsa. No, you can't do. It's not a niyama. Niyama is what you need to do. Ahimsa is what you achieve by not doing something. So ahimsa you must achieve by not doing himsa. So not doing himsa means you have to really find out what causes you to do himsa to others. That means monitoring behavior changes, emotional changes, thoughts, vrittis. And we know in the study we did in the last 2 weeks, what causes those things, and we catch them and suppress them. Okay. Then he said, these yamas are called Mahabritas. Mahabrata means the Supreme Penance. This is the penance that everybody should do, but some may not be able to do because of many lifestyle changes. But ultimately, when we renunciate life, not in a physical sense of running away from family, but when you renunciate, get non-attachment, you will start practicing. This is a Mahabrata. What does Mahabrata means? It's nothing but this yamas, ahimsa, satya, asteya, all this, you practice it Jadi te desa kala samaya anavarchinnaha. Avachinna means limited. Jati avachinna means limited by the species type. Desa avachinnam, kala avachinnam. No, you don't. No, Friday I don't eat meat. Other days I eat meat. In the temple I don't lie. Otherwise I will lie. You know, we attach some constraint to our good behavior by this time, space, occasions, species, and all that. But when you can give up all this, you don't have any limitations. Anytime you are Satyam, anytime you are Ahimsa. Like that, if you have come, then you are in the Mahabrata. So don't wait for a day to come do Mahabratam. We can always do the Vratam and we convert into Mahabratam. Okay, I killed the mosquito. Well, okay, you've not done it. Fine. Next time you find a way. How do we avoid the samaya? Can I do a mosquito net? You know, I go back to simple example because if you can think of even hurting a mosquito as a violent, then you will not hurt others. So the hurting others by our action, by our looks, by our posture, you know, you don't need to really do anything. You know, you turn your face away from somebody, you know, disrespect. Very easily we can hurt. So we need to find a way to make it a Mahabrata. So until then, we saw that in the last class. Now we go to the Niyama. Niyama means that you should do. It is a conditional order, dogma, ordain. What is that? Saucha, Santosha, Tapaswadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhani, Niyamaha. Again, he gives five here. 5 yama, now 5 niyama. But it's quite easy to follow because we already done quite a few of this. But let's see what it is. Shaucham. Shaucham means cleanliness, to be pure. You know, we are in the pursuit of Chitta Shuddhi, mental purity. So we are in the cleaning process. Therefore, naturally, we have to clean. So cleaning comes the first part. But this cleaning has to be, I would say, in 3 ways. First is cleanliness of the place where you dwell, where you work, where you reside, where you transact. You have to keep your houses clean, your offices clean, your desk clean. You know, in management, in offices, they say, you know, if your untidy desk is untidy mind, you know, you have to keep it clean. Now, if you watch that BBC program, Master Chef, which is a very inspiring program, the cooks make fantastic food, you know, like a yoga, you know, the way they cut everything. But important thing is when they finish cooking, they clean up everything. The kitchen is as good as when he entered it. Now, I remember my mother used to do it in those days. Every day when she goes to bed, the kitchen will be again, you know, washed up, you know, the columns are put in and cleaning up. So you clean your ambience outside, clean your outside, your external body, clean it up very well. In those days, there is all niyamam there. It's a niyamam because it has to be done. They say, you know, those days they used to take the clay or the sand and then they apply it. When you go to the river, when you take a river bath, you're supposed to take the sand and first apply on your body. Then you can put your shampoo and all that. Even there are niyamam like, you know, Grahastha do 15 times and Brahmachari does 6 times. So you clean up your body, which we all do. Clean up inside your body. How do I clean up inside your body? There are 2 things, the gross part and the subtle part. The gross part is, there are many internal parts of the body, Annamaya Kosha. We do not know how, we've not seen it. But we must clean it. So therefore you take right food, right medicines. You clean your body, keep it as good as possible. It'll fall into, you know, dirty state, but you keep on cleaning it. Then more importantly, clean your mind. You clean your prana, clean your mind. We are going to learn how to do the pranamaya kosha cleaning by pranayama. But mano-mind kosha, mental purity. Like listening to good things, listening to nice music, nice divine subjects. Always putting something, feeding into this, What you put in, when you eat an apple, the apple becomes you, is it not? Same way, what you eat, you become that. So what you think, you become that. It'd be amazing if you go to an ashram or stay there for 10 days, 15 days, when you come out, for at least few days, every transactional activity looked very obscene and loud and, because your mind is conditioned to that. So this is called mental purity. You achieve that. Then santosha. Santosha means, we say generally joy, but santosha actually means contentment, tripti. Yada labham paridushtati. Whatever you have, happy with this. Tripti is a very difficult to hold on to. What we normally have, we have a tripti. We are not happy with what we have, and we are not happy with what we don't have. So you don't win it, right? You're not happy with what you have, a tripti. You're not happy with what you don't have. That means you're always full of atripti. So tripti is very, very important to have. Santosham is very important to have. Santosham comes from Atmajnanam, we will see that. So it is a very virtuous quality. Suppressing asura, suppressing envy. We are matured. Now we don't get envy because somebody wears a good cloth. Doesn't matter. But even sometimes somebody is priced in front of you. Oh, why he is priced or she is priced? I'm not priced. I may not price worthy. Atripti. You must go back and think about muditam, udasinam, maitriyam. So it is very, very important. Bhagavan says in the 3rd chapter, Yastu atma ratir evasyat atma triptasya tattasya chamanava. Atmaratihi. Atmaratihi means one who enjoys in the self. Yes, whoever, tu means but, tu atmaratihi. If you are enjoying yourself in your own nature, siyat, if you're there, atmatriptasya manavaga. Manavaga means the person is the one who has got a atmatripti, who is contented, one who is happy in oneself. Atmani evacha santushtas tasya karyamna vidyate. This is very interesting. Tasya, for him, one who is atmani evacha santushta, who is happy with whatever he has got, who is contented in himself, for him, tasya karyamna vidyate. It's amazing because he is saying it in Karma Yoga. 3rd chapter is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is do action, do karma. And he is telling Arjuna, you see, you don't even need to do anything. Karyam na vidyate. You don't have any duty to do. When you have Atma Tripti. Because when Arjuna went to Krishna, like we normally don't show our ignorance. We know something and we say we know it. Arjuna was, Arjuna talks about very high philosophy in the chapter. We become very philosophical when we are distressed. Distress is good sometimes, once in a while. Distress wakes you up. And Kunti, in fact, prays for it. Give me grief so that I can think about you. She's saying the bhakti marga, but when you are pushed hard, you philosophize. When somebody is dead, a family, and you go there and come back and say, what is life? Immaterial. All true, you say. In a couple of days, you're all forgotten, right? Arjuna goes the same way. He talks about very esoteric subject, even telling Krishna, said, what are you telling me to kill people? Wrong. Then Krishna thought, okay, he knows everything. So he reminded him, look, get Atma Jnanam. He just bombarded with 15 slokas in the chapter 2. Vedanta Saram he gave. He panicked, like we panic in front of Patanjali. I don't know. Teach me more sadhanas. Krishna then, okay, I will teach you Karma Yoga. He doesn't know what is Karma Yoga. He thought Karma Yoga is just doing his action as it is and grieve about it. No. But here, the point I'm trying to say, here he says, you don't even have to do anything. In the Karma Yoga, he says that. So beautiful. But when you have Atma Tripti, the Tripti, so it is highly potential Vedantic explosion here, this mantra, in this verse, this sloka. But here what you're taking, therefore, is Santosha, is contentment, is a niyamam. That means we, in our own way, be contented in what we have. There may be a question in mind. If I am contented, then am I not, not motivated, unmotivated? You take a lower standard to yourself. That's a very good question, but no, it is not. Tripti has nothing to do with your performance, your goal. In fact, if you think about it, if you want to do anything better, anything well, you have to be fully contented in what you're doing. If you are in a Tripti mode, you do any act, you cannot do well. Tripti, contentment, is not a demotivator. In fact, it's a propeller of doing things in a better way. So therefore, don't ever have the doubt. So what happens if my salary is low in the company? To have a Tripti on it? Don't have a Tripti. Have Tripti because the salary is given to you. Now you perform better in your job. As Ishvara Pranidhanam, you will get what you need to get. So remember that. Then he says tapaha. Now if you look at this, the three words here, tapas, swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhanani. It must ring the bell to you. This is the first sutra in the second chapter. Except the last word, kriya yoga. So he's bringing back again. Well, you cannot not do this. You must do tapas. Tapas, you know what it is? Kaya, vak, manas, penance. Depriving the body, word, and mind of unnecessary indulgence and put them into penance. So tapa is a very important part. Now you can do, like for example, vratam is a tapas. Mauna vratam is a tapas. You can do, some may do a, akara maunam. It can be mauna, but they can do in a sign language. They can write. Or kashta mauna. They don't sign, they don't anything. They are as if they are not there at all. You can do this kind of a vratam, you can do maybe half an hour one day. I'm going to be in akara mauna. Then kashta mauna. These are all training your mind to control. And when you are in maunam, that means you speak less. The potential of creating problem with your words, ahimsa, is gone. So this is niyama. But here he says, as a niyama means you must think, you must take a list. What is the tapas I'm going to do today? Remember, tapas is doing something which is otherwise impossible. Sarvam tatu tapasat satyam. Anything that is not possible can be done by tapas. This is very important, understand. Anything that is not possible can be done by tapas. Therefore, in a day's life, we always have something which is not possible. Give an example. I'm retired now. What is it I need to do? I'll give an example. So 1 to 2, you need to attend a satsanga class. 1 to 2 is a cricket match. You don't have a recording facility. What do? Apply tapas. My pursuit is now to miss this one. So where there you're punishing yourself, that's a tapas. So Swadhyayam. Swadhyayam, again, we saw before. It is reading the scriptures, japam and all that. Why should I read scriptures? I know moral science. You don't know moral science because schools don't teach us anymore. Physics, chemistry, astronomy, economics, all this we study. But nowhere they teach you what is right or wrong. So how do I know what is right or wrong? And in our heritage, our culture, we can see the life beyond this embodiment. Therefore, I need a map. You can take Shastras as a map. Where to go, how to go. The Shastras give you. Therefore, you must always, every day, read some text. Read or listen or hear. That which gives you direction. Not just murmuring a slogan for some time. That's also good. It's about that gives you jnanam, that gives you course correction. That is Swadhyaya. Ishvara Pranidhanani. Surrender to God. But here as a niyamam, what I would say two ways you can look at it. You must do prayer to God, whichever God you prefer, whichever religion you are, doesn't matter. You must allocate a space, time, in your room, maybe a bookshelf. If you don't have a big house, a bookshelf. Where you can look at it and say, this is my Swami. 5 minutes, morning, evening. Getting up in the morning, first thing. I know we have a bed coffee and that thing. And it's much better to say good morning to the Swami first. When you go good night, you say to the Swami first. So that way you start and you end with the place that you think. That's one way of doing Ishvara Pranidhanani. But more important one. So what happened after I pray and then I forget everything? For us, the second part is very important. Ishvara Pranidhanani means the bhavana, Ishvara bhavana. Ishvara Pradhanam, Ishvara Prasadam. Ishvara Pradhanam means what? Anything that you do on the day, you do a divine bhavana. That it is not work, but it is worship. See, there is no need of Vishesha Bhavana for doing Vishesha thing. Now, if you're praying God, it's a ritual. Hopefully you think of God. That's 5 minutes we do, the morning and night, fine. But now I do my job. I am talking to people. I'm writing programs. I'm a doctor. I'm an advocate and do things what I need to do. There also you must have Ishvara Pranidhanani. How do I do that? They are called Samanya Karyam, your daily job. The Samanya Karyam, you do Vishesha Bhavana. That is Ishvara Pranidhanani. That this I do in the name of God. I am now seeing a patient. I'm listening to her problems. But I listen as that I am doing this as a service to God. What kind of approach you do? So again, we saw all those things before. So he basically packs Kriya Yoga into this in a different way. So we must do these things as niyamaha. So we got 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. I think you should not have any doubt on it. These are the best resolution to take for the new year. We take it. Now, to go from here to the next thing, Patanjali gives a break. He is now he's very concerned. What will happen that we are still not able to do? Uttam Adhikari to Madhyam Adhikari to Manda Adhikari we are. Even this cleanliness, santosham, tapas, swadhyayam. What could be the impediments for it? Therefore, he is going to take a couple of sutras to give you what the impediments are for it. Very easily we can flow through it. And then he's going to give you some siddhis of this 10 things we maintain, 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. We get some powers, some benefits. So you're going to talk about that in a few sutras. Then we go to the next stage of Ashtanga Yoga, which is asanam and pranayama and all that. So here he says, for this sadhana, what is this sadhana? Ashtanga Yoga. In particular, yama and niyama. For that, what is the impediments? Vidarka bhadena pratibhaksha bhavanam. He is giving the impediments and a cure. What are the impediments to sadhana and what is a cure? Here again a sutra, so we need to know the deeper meaning of it. Vitarkam means, we saw before, vikalpam. Vitarka means, tarkam means argument. Tarkam is an important instrument. It's a means to prove what needs to be proven, what needs to be taught. But if you use the same tools, the tarkam tool, to prove something which is not true, which is not correct, that is called kutarkam or vitarkam. So vitarkam is using the argument, a legitimate argument, to prove the countering thought, a deviant thought, a different thought to the goal, the truth. Okay, again, I'm not going to go deeper into this, but this is good enough to understand. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean here? That is, if I want to do any niyamas, like a simple one, chaucham, I want to have cleanliness. Well, I look at the weather, it's cloudy, and I'm not going anywhere. I have yesterday's pizza in the freezer. I'm not going to cook anything. Why should I have a bath? Lie down. Like a pig, we live. And then we take that old food we eat. So we have not taken bath. We are putting the old food inside. But all that happened because the thought I had, the freedom I had, nobody at home, not going anywhere. Sunday. People think Sunday means don't work. Sunday is an opportunity to work for yourself. Every day we work for somebody else. Sunday is a time to work yourself, to clean yourself. So like this, you can take you can take ahimsa. Why ahimsa? I have vitarkam for it. Well, don't worry about it. Nobody sees this. Steal it or kill it or abuse it. No, I am in the Facebook or in WhatsApp. I can hide myself, create a comment, bad comment about the person. He doesn't know me. Ahimsa, himsa. The himsa comes in because you have vitarka. Badena means being impeded by. Botheration. Botheration in English is badena in Sanskrit. Ubadai. So when the vitarka here, the vitarkam here is what? I can abuse somebody online because that other person cannot see me. That is a vitarkavad. Then you do himsa. So Patanjali again, as a master, what he says is that I'm going to give you to clear the cause. It's like a Ayurvedic medicine, not curing the symptom. Every time there's a problem, I will tell you what's the cause. You have to grab the cause and then destroy it. So what I have to therefore do in my yamam and niyamam, when I am practicing it consciously, when there is a vitarka badena, when there's a vitarkam comes in my mind, to counter that action, now I know this problem. I need to destroy the problem by doing what? Pratibhaksha bhavana. Bhagavan says in Gita, Krodha bhavati sammohaha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti pranashat buddhinasho, buddhinasha pranashyati. Krodham, this is interesting because this is some of the vitarka consequences for it. Krodha means anger. Krodhat bhavati. Because of anger comes what comes in? Some moha. Some moha means very deep delusion. Moha means delusion. So when anger comes in, delusion comes in. Sammohat, because of delusion, smriti, vibhramaha. Vibhramaha means bewildered, scattered. Smriti means your memory here, your mind. Your mind becomes polluted, scattered. Smriti Branshat, Buddhi Nasho. When the mind is like this, confused, bewildered, your buddhi, your intellect, your discriminating intellect, destroyed. You can see, when somebody gets angry, I have seen people who gets anger and the words don't come. Body, you kill yourself. The violence causes to you, anger is himsa. But the himsa start in the person who is getting angry first. They don't understand. In Tamil, Bharatiya said, Raudram Palagu. That means practice anger. What does he mean by that? It means not use anger. Practice anger means you make it as a pet dog. When the anger comes in, convert into something else. Pratibhaksha bhavana. So the important to know the vitarka. If I get all the cause of it, paksham means a stand, a position. You say Vedanta Purva Pakshi, one who takes a position. Pratipakshi means an opposite way. So if the vitarka comes and say, Sunday, nobody's at home, be dirty as you are, that's a paksham. Then you say, no, Sunday, my free day, I want to clean myself better, pratipaksham. See, it all is not a rocket science. It's just all happening in our mind, but we try to apply into yoga. I took a very simple example, but take it to every part of it. We don't do himsa by physical violence, but we do himsa by thought and words. And I am seeing this person. This person has been really infuriating me. I didn't see him for many time. He's walking towards me. It's a good opportunity. I want to stop him and ask him a few really wrong, solid questions. Put him straight. This krodham comes in, thought comes in. I'm going to cause that violence to him. Then I say, no, I am a student of Vedanta. I am learning yoga. So this vitarka badene, I must bring the purvapaksham. So why? Then what is the purvapaksham? Paksham is, this fellow has infuriated me before. Therefore, I must infuriate him back. Pratipaksham means, I will make him happy. I will show him how virtuous I am. I'm going to stop him now, but I'm going to give him a smile, ask about his family. Hey, he is my enemy. I've not spoken to him. Doesn't matter. I am now a student of Vedanta. Pratipakshi Bhavanam is my attitude. I'm going to stop him and tell him how good he is. Now what happened is, your ahimsa is in full display. You have managed this, niyamam is followed. The other person will change. You also created jnana deepam. This is what's happening. You spread goodness. But Ishwaratma, it's not, you don't think that therefore I am a good person. No, I'm still a bad person. But I'm learning to be in Ishvara Pranidhanam. See, the point is, the pratipaksham is very important. So again, you can, to assimilate this, you experiment this. Occasionally, sometime a bad thought will come. When it comes, catch it, do a pratipaksham to it. And then note it down. What is the pratipaksham you applied? And then try to, what is a bhavanam means? Bhavanam is a very, very important word. We all have to, if you need to practice yoga, you need to do dhyanam and everything, you must willingly take some bhavanas. You must have a lot of shraddha for it. So bhavanam means cultivating certain things, behaving in a way, applying in some way. Now we have a different way we see it in Vedantam also, some things like, Vedanta, we use the word called Ayam Bhavana. Ayam Bhavana means samshayam, doubt. When you read something, when you understand something, you have doubts comes in. So it may give a vidarkabadam because of the doubts. And what is a cure in Vedanta? Mananam. Mananam is what? Mananam is a process in which you, like a cow. What the cow does it? And the food comes in, it just eats everything. Everything gone to the tummy. Then you've got a capacity to bring that out and chew better. That is mananam. So we grab everything from the teacher and then we think about it. So the Ayam Bhavana is the doubting behavior gets solved by manana. And there's a Viparita Bhavana. So you do the mananam and you bring your scientific theories and you have the other teachers told you many things and you compare, contrast, and you come to a different synthesis, different paksha. This is not correct. I think that is correct. That is called Viparita Bhavana in Vedanta. That is very, very dangerous. This happens mainly to more educated people. More and more you study, more and more teachers you go to, and if your mind is not pure, you will jump from this to that. Oh, he said this, he said that. And you quote many books. For what? So for the Viparita Bhavana in Vedanta, you do Nididhyasanam. So Mananam is for Ayam Bhavana, to clear the doubts. Nididhyasanam is for to resolve, bring back to the Paksham, bring back to the original thought. So similarly, here in yogas, Patanjali says, Pratibhaksha Bhavanam, whenever the bad thought comes in. Now, this is a very important science today in psychology. The people take it. Let me see how much time we have. Okay. So, psychology. This is a mindfulness, counter conditioning. There was a program called. I forgot the name of the program. It's about the dog training. In Channel 4, it was. I mean, the pet doesn't behave at home. And then you call the specialist, and this guy comes in there. And it's a very fascinating program for me. Because I'm expecting this guy is going to come and discipline this dog, right? He comes there and he said he observes the person to play with the dog and do that, whatever they do in normal life. He watches them for a few hours. And then he finds out the problems. And then he implements what's called counter conditioning, desensitizing, conditioning, Pratibhaksha Bhavana. But he applies to both the owner of the dog and the dog itself. Because the owner of the dog is inculcating the behavior in the dog in the way that they are behaving themselves. The dog is looking up to them. It is just taking it absolutely 100%, like a child, And that example applies to us in a family, Even your son and daughter becomes elders, they still look up to you as a parent. They may be 30, 40 years old now, doesn't matter. They still look up to you as a parent, as a hero. It's like a pet dog looking up the owner. So our behavior imprints on them. But we don't even know how we behave. So in psychology, it's called, like I was saying, counter conditioning. You find out what is the thing. Positive reinforcement, they say, positive thinking. You go there, you are afraid of it, go there and say, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. Nothing's going to happen by just saying it. But what they are trying to do is to find what is opposite to what you are worried about it, and then somehow enforce that on it. But here we go in a much more precise way. It is because here it is not me, it is my belongings. It's very important. Always know this secret. To do this yama and niyama, to implement it, you have to behave not as a practitioner, but as a teacher to yourself. How is it possible? Because if you are trying to practice it, then you won't take ownership of your mind. But if you are a preacher to the mind is not you, it is the truth you wanted to realize. Therefore, what you do when you do the Pratibhaksha Bhavanam, you are treating your mind and you are telling your mind to do the Yama Niyama. So double bonus. So you have no responsibility. When I say you, that you is the real you. But every time there is, in my mind has got the ahimsa thought, asteya thought, parigraha thought, then what I have to do is to find out and tell the mind, now you need to find the pratibhaksha. Let me see. Okay, so I think maybe I'll stop it here. So what we saw today, we saw 5 niyamas. We already know 5 yamas. The 5 niyama, 3 already know, Kriya Yoga, in a slightly different way. So Shuddha is Shaucham, which we do. Now there's no need to learn that how to clean ourselves, we know it. We all keep our house tidy, no problem. The important point that we may have to cultivate is cleaning inside of it. Therefore, let us not drink that, let us not smoke that. Let us have good thoughts. That is Shaucham. Then Santosha, Tripti, very important. This is something we should cultivate. And how to cultivate Tripti? What is the pratibhaksham for it? When Tripti comes in, very simple. Whatever that you are holding dear to, think about it when it is rotten. Think about it when it is not working. It's useless. So everything will be rotten. Everything will become useless. So you see, this is when you bring that thought, the Vairagyam comes in, Tripti comes in. Yeah, this car is fine. I got a beautiful car, fine. The government changed the regulation. Diesels are going to be expensive. Diesel cars are no good. Nobody buys this car. The car I allowed, the diesel car, 4x4, no value. So now what do I do? So I have to really look at every such aspect of it in a way that they are temporal, not lasting. Therefore, I'm happy with what I have. So like this, you take each pratibhaksham, we do that. In the next class, we will see what is a vitarka, and you'll be amazed how many ways this ahimsa can come. Now, ahimsa is just one, but Patanjali is going to say, no, it's going to be 81 ways it can come, for example. So am I going to find every one way and sort it out? No. We know that how it's going to expand in so many ways to see. More important is, I'll finish it now. More important is when you are in this path, when you're trying to be more purer than what you appear to be, more impediments will come. And the tough is a path for the virtuous. But it is not really that truth. Why that is said is because when you are becoming Saucha, when you become pure, you can't tolerate even the smallest of the blemish. You become very fussy about blemish. Therefore, you start finding problems in every small things. But now we are finding problems in everybody else's small problem. Everybody else's life. That is not good. When you start finding problems in your life, and when it's very small, you want to clean it up, then it becomes more responsible and more work for us. But that is a niyama, so we do that. So so in the next class, we see that how it multiplies, and then probably we'll see very quickly what is the siddhis that we get out of this. Then we move into the asanas and pranayamas. So let's take the Shanti Padha. Ashadoma Shadgamaya.
Asatoma Satgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityoma Amridam Gamaya.
Mrityoma Amritamgamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Thank you.